How's it going, everybody? Nerds Rising here, and welcome back to the Nerd Cave. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some very spicy Fossil Cup battles, but before we do so, I do want to say a couple words, just because it's been nearly 2 weeks since I put out a video. Now, if you're new to the channel, if you haven't heard, I recently got my tonsils removed. It's been about 10 days now, and for those of you guys who still have your tonsils, let me just say, please keep those things in there if you can. I had to get mine removed for various medical reasons, and it has been just absolutely horrible experience. I'm almost 30 years old, and getting your tonsils out as an adult is just a huge surgery. It's like a 2-week recovery. I've been off work for almost 2 weeks, basically just laying on the couch, unable to really eat much, horrible pain, giant wounds in my throat, and it's just been absolutely awful in multiple different ways. I've lost a ton of weight. My voice is just now starting to come back. I've basically been hardly able to speak for the last 10 days or so, without having excruciating pain at least. So let me just say, if you can, just keep your dang tonsils in your throat, guys. But all that to say, thank you to everyone for the support. I know I haven't been posting a lot of videos, but I did get a couple of shoutcasts by Home Slice and Calamontos, so thank you to those guys. Thank you to everyone who's been supportive of me through this process, including my wife. She's been amazing. And yeah, we're gonna do our best to get through the video today. I'm still not at 100%. I'd say I'm probably maybe around 80%, 75-80%. Still not feeling amazing, but definitely good enough to at least talk through the video. So I'm not sure that I'm gonna be getting super excited during this video, but we're gonna do our best. But anyway, I still have been playing some Pogo, well high on painkillers and in excruciating pain, basically half of a person. I still did play GBL. Fortunately, I did hit Legend at the beginning of the Great League Remix Cup, so I've just been kind of screwing around, and this team just started out honestly as me just having fun messing around, but it turned out to actually be halfway decent. And the reason is, I'm sure you guys have seen, Jellicents are just absolutely everywhere right now, and I know there's been a couple content creators that have put out teams with, how strong Jellicent is, etc. And I just went out and I was like, you know what, I'm not losing to another Jellicent. I've got Gyarados on the lead, which is fairly neutral to Jellicent, and then two pretty good responses in the back that basically hard-walled the Jellicent. There's nothing Jellicent can do against either of them, and I'm also running Feint Attack as well on the Greninja, so I went out there just searching for some Jellicents, wanting to beat them down, and of course, as the game usually does, I did not see near as many Jellicents after I built this team than before, but that's just how the game goes, so we're going to get into it. The team definitely did better than expected. I really didn't expect to win many battles at all, but I still had 2 or 3 positive sets. Now, I definitely would not recommend the team in general because it's super weak to Ferrothorn, it's super weak to Lantern, and it really doesn't love seeing multiple Steel types either, as you guys are going to see in these battles. But regardless, we went Jellicent hunting in the Fossil Cup, and we had an absolute blast doing it. So let's get into the battles here. Bear with me, guys, as we do the commentary. It's going to be a little rough. Like I said, I really haven't hardly talked in the last 2 weeks, let alone shoutcasted, so I'm going to be drinking a ton of water. Hopefully I'm not going to cough up anything nasty during this, but fingers crossed. So anyway, as you guys saw, we had a Shadow Gyarados mirror there. Gyarados into Shadow Gyarados, and the opponent safe switches into a Reggie. And as I said in the intro, there's just really not the best response to a Steel type on this team, but Crawdaunt, I have to say, Crawdaunt has to be the GOAT of this team, guys. Crawdaunt put in so much work for me in these battles. It is super spammy, and I don't know what the attack stat is on this thing. I know it's high. I don't really have anything to compare to. I didn't look at PV Poke to see what his attack stat was, but this thing just hits super hard. Just wait till you see how hard a Crab Hammer does on some of these mons. But as you see there, we got debuffed by the Zap Cannon, and this debuff Night Slash is still going to do over half of the Gyarados' health, so they're going to be forced to shield. And this is a Waterfall Shadow Gyarados as well, which is not as bad for us, because now we can bring back in our own Gyarados. We have even shields, and despite the fact that the opponent has a Ferrothorn in the back, we are going to be able to do some nice neutral damage here with the Crunch, and the Dragon Breaths are chipping away as well, and the opponent here is probably going to be forced to throw right away, otherwise we would make another move. They do actually Power Whip as well. We call it, we live on 1 HP, we make the Aqua Tail, and this is massive, because now, if you didn't notice, I am running the Feint Attack on the Greninja, just really to make the Jellicent matchup a bit more comfortable. But since we're running Feint Attack, we're actually going to be able to sack the Crawdaunt here, force them to throw, and then fully farm them down with the Feint Attacks here. Whereas if we were running Bubble, we would have had a very difficult farm down, and now I probably could have just committed to the fast moves there, but now we can just farm this Gyarados all the way down. And even though Shadow Crunch is going to hit pretty hard, and Greninja is pretty glassy as well, we're going to be able to tank this, and we're going to take game 1 there. So no Jellicent on the lead here, but don't worry, there are going to be some Jellicents made very, very sad in this video. And in the next battle, we have acquired our target. We have the Jellicent lead, and here how I like to play the lead is just stay in and count up to 5 hexes. It is going to be 5 hexes for the Shadow Ball, and then we're just going to catch onto one of our back mons. Usually I do like to safe switch into the Crawdont, just because it's a bit spammier. And I do want to safe switch as well, just in case they have like a Lucario or something in back. That way, if we don't switch out at some point, then the counter user will just sweep our backline. So that's why we safe switch out of there. So we catch the resisted damage onto the Crawdont. They bring out a Registeel, and here again is just where you're going to see Crawdont is just absolutely insane, guys. It hits super, super hard, and it just gets to these moves so fast. Crabhammer, look at how hard that Crabhammer hits. That is nearly half of Registeel's remaining health. And we're already at another Night Slash. We're going to get another Night Slash off here. It barely doesn't KO. And they just barely make a move on like 2 HP, but that is totally fine. Crawdont has more than done its job. Now, we're going to bring back in the Gyarados. Their Jellicent is energy dry, so they're probably not going to be bringing back in. And they have a G-Fisk in the back, so G-Fisk is not that bad for Gyarados, because Gyarados, from this amount of health, can pretty easily tank 1 Rock Slide and not really be in danger of farming them down. And we have so much energy here. We get their last shield, and now Greninja is definitely going to be able to sweep up this game. I'm not going to be shielding this. I'm going to be watching for the catch here. They do try to catch, and there I bank the Aqua Tail, and now Greninja is going to come in here and just fully wall this Jellicent, because Jellicent really doesn't have any super hard answers in this meta because there's no normal types. So these Jellicents just do not respect the fact that there are dark and water types running around. We built up to basically the back-to-back there, and we're going to force the G-Fisk to take us out right away if they have energy. And then we're just going to Aqua Tail the G-Fisk, and yeah, they surrender there. So, sorry guys, Jellicent there gets absolutely crushed. They switched back into the Gyarados thinking they had a good situation, and we had another dark water type waiting for it in the back. So, we get the absolute nightmare lead. For any of you guys who are wondering in the intro there, what do you do against Lantern? Well, in most situations against Lantern, you basically just lose. But I did actually manage to beat 1 Lantern lead, at least maybe even 2 Lantern leads, but this is a Lantern lead that I was pretty proud of the win there. We stay in the lead. I believe we called the Surf as well. We called the Surf. We got a shield as well. No, we didn't get a shield, but we did do some damage. We got a Crunch debuff. We got the Lantern below half health, which is really, honestly, pretty amazing, because I think the Lantern is low enough now that our Greninja may be able to feint attack it down later on. And again, that is why we're running the feint attack, just for the things like the Ferrothorn and the Lanterns, things that would be resisting the bubbles, but also for the super effective damage on the Jellicent itself. So I think feint attack's actually a pretty good option for if you're going to run Greninja. Not that you really should run Greninja, but as you see here, we're actually going to be able to fully farm them down before they even make a Thunderbolt, and they have a Swampert in back. And this is actually a pretty nice matchup for Greninja as well. Greninja has a very high attack stat, just like Crawdont, so we're going to win CMP against the Swampert, easily outpace it. And again, we're going to build up one more Night Slash here, throw on CMP, and then basically just Dragon Breath them down to Gyarados. By throwing on CMP there, I don't allow them to overfarm at all. And since they're energy dry after they put this Hydro here to take me out, my Gyarados is going to come in and farm down. So again, I'm already telling my voice is kind of starting to go, guys, so I'm just apologizing in advance. We're going to get through this video. I think I only have maybe like 6 or 7 more battles, but just in case I start to get really hoarse, I'm just letting you know now. It's been pretty rough, guys. Probably the worst part of it is the swelling in my throat. Basically, when I'm sleeping, I basically can only breathe in certain positions. So if I'm laying like too flat on my back, I literally cannot breathe. My airway is like closed because of swelling. So yeah, it's just really not a fun surgery. I would just strongly not recommend it unless you just really love the worst sore throat of your life all the time and not be able to eat and drink for like 10 days. In that case, this is definitely the surgery for you. But as you saw in this battle here, we had another Jellicent lead, and I did say switch out of there again like I did in the last battle, just because in case they had counter user in the back, which they did, they had a Lucario, I wanted to make sure I preserved the Gyarados. And if you guys didn't notice while I was talking about my throat, I think the Crawdont got countered down in like 3 counters there, and they have a Berserker in the back. And this is actually not that bad for the Greninja because we are actually resisting the Shadow Claws there. So I think we can actually shield up once and then potentially even farm all the way down, but they switch out of there. And this is perfect because what you guys are going to see here is I can just build up to the back-to-back Night Slashes on CMP here. And Greninja actually will win CMP on the Berserker, even if they do have a move, and actually go for the Surf Beam there. I was counting, I knew that they were not at the move. And we're going to take them out with the Surf there. And as you're seeing, Greninja and Crawdaunt putting in some work here in the 2600s. Again, obviously, the team isn't that good, because you're going to see, I think at the end, I put in like 2 or 3 losses at the end where I just get completely stomped to bits by like some more meta teams. But some of these teams that I'm beating here are actually pretty decent. Like, I ran into this team a lot. I'm not sure if this is the Pelipper double steal here, but I did run into Pelipper double steal quite a bit with Pelipper and Lucario in the back. And this is the one that had Escavalier in the back, and this is where you're going to see just how hard Crawdaunt hits. Look at that damage, guys. That's a neutral Crab Hammer, nearly one-shotting the Escav from full health. That is absolutely insane. We nearly one-shot the Escav, and again, that is why I had to safe switch out of that Pelipper lead there, because if we just stay in and play out a close win or loss with the Pelipper, then the Escav just basically fully sweeps my backline. And I believe I do let the Gyarados go down now, recognizing that even if they do have a Lucario in the back, that we're so low on the Gyarados that Lucario can just probably power up punch his way through us. So here I'm just calling that their second steel type is probably going to be like a Reggie or something, and they're actually running a Gastrodon in the back, so this is going to be very, very close. I'm going to make sure I throw on correct timing here just to maximize the amount of energy that I'm getting off here and the amount of fast move damage. And what you're going to see is this comes down to the wire. We have like 2 HP on our Gyarados, but Mud Slaps are double resisted, and I do 2 Dragon Breaths before I throw my Aqua Tail, and I throw it and it just barely KOs there. And we had 2 shields, so we 2 shield flex on that team somehow. And yeah, I'm not really sure how he did that, but GG to the opponent there. And the Nightmare lead here. Ferrothorn by far is the worst lead for this team because we just really have no answer for it. Thunder obviously is going to be one-shotting, and they do get to the Thunder at the same time as we get to our Crunch. So I do like to throw right away just to make sure I get the damage off. But the opponent actually went for the extra, which is really rough, but then they bait. And because they baited, they're now forced to throw their energy right away. So definitely better if you're the Ferrothorn there, just to full send the Thunder. It's only 1 more Bullet Seed past the Power Whip, so you might as well just full send the Thunder, because Power Whip doesn't KO, and then you're going to be forced to throw more energy. And now, since they wasted all their energy, I now nearly have 3 Night Slashes loaded. And they're going to bring in their Toxapex here, but here's where you're going to see again how good Crawdaunt is. I think, obviously, Gyarados has been around for a while. Gyarados is nothing new. We all know that Gyarados has play in all the cups, but really, I have to say Crawdaunt really, really surprised me. It is just really, really good, guys. It's super, super spammy, and look at how much these Night Slashes are chunky. We've already gotten a shield from this Toxapex, and this is actually the 4th Night Slash we've gotten off on the Toxapex, and we get it into the red health. That is really impressive considering that Toxapex is one of the bulkiest Pokemon around, and they full send the Gunk Shot there, and they have a Jellicent in the back. You absolutely love to see it. The team is working like a charm here, and I think we're out of shields, but Greninja does have enough bulk where it can live 1 Shadow Ball, and it only does about maybe slightly over half, and we actually got the boost as well on the Night Slash, and now Jellicent's going to get farmed down. We're going to tank the Shadow Ball. It doesn't even do half, maybe just under half, and we farm it down. They surrender there. Greninja gets the sweep, and 2 really awesome Pokemon, by the way, just ones that you really don't see very often. I think Greninja has a lot of potential as well, but Greninja really needs a better fast move. If Greninja had Snarl, I think it would be a lot better, but all it has right now is Feint Attack and Bubble Beam, or not Bubble Beam, and just Bubble. And Bubble is just basically a strictly worse version of Snarl, basically. So I think if they ever give Greninja Snarl or potentially buff Feint Attack or like Sucker Punch or something, I could see Greninja having a lot of play, but right now it's kind of just a B tier Pokemon in general. I think if you're going to run a Dark Water type, you definitely want to run the Crawdaunt. As you see, Crawdaunt is just so spammy, guys. We're already at like nearly 100 energy. We bait with a Night Slash, and now does the opponent want to give up the second shield? They do not. That Crab Hammer just does so much damage. We snipe with a Greninja. We still have 2 shields. They have another Mudboy in back. And the nice thing about Feint Attack at the very least is it does do quite a bit of damage when you take into account how little damage something like Snarl does. It actually does chip away. And again, we're going to be throwing on CMP to make sure this Swampert cannot overfarm. And I believe we do I think we do outpace them to 2 more. Or they might even be out of shields here. Now, I just knew that I needed to overfarm for when the Ferrothorn came back in. So that's why I was making sure I always optimize my energy there by throwing on CMP. That way, when the Ferrothorn came back in, which I knew it would, I would have energy to throw at it so it wouldn't get to a move. We get the boost again unnecessarily. We take out another Ferrothorn lead, and that is going to be another GG. I think we have maybe 2 or 3 more wins and then a couple just savage losses. And another Pelipper lead here. A Pelipper again was the most common lead I saw, and this one I kept in because the opponent is a Spice Lord as well. They have a Poniard, and I think they thought they might have caught the Night Slash there, but I full send the Crabhammer. There's so much damage, and we get the boost. Both Night Slash and Crabhammer have the potential to boost, and now boosted Night Slashes are just going to destroy this Pelipper. Just wait until you see how much damage a boosted Night Slash does on that Pelipper. I did throw it right away, which isn't the best timing, and the reason I did that's because I knew that the Pelipper did have the Weather Ball loaded, and I wanted to make sure I got off the energy, and I actually double boosted there as well, but obviously they were going to shield that second one up, and they have a Lucario in the back, and this is looking pretty good. We have a Gyarados here, and even if they do bait, I believe I should still outpace them to 2 Aqua Tails, since I did have a little bit of energy, and they do full send it. I think they recognize there that full sending it was their only win con, and I am going to take the Lucario out, and the Pelipper is very low in the back. Greninja doesn't even need to do anything in this battle, or does it in the end? No, it doesn't even. They don't even get to the Hurricane. Gyarados is just going to Dragon Breath all the way down. Greninja gets to sit that one out on the bench, so GG to the opponent there. Pelipper leads, getting destroyed left and right, and I believe this is one of the times where I get absolutely stomped because the opponent brings in a Ferrothorn as a safe switch, and I don't really think that in general on this meta that Ferrothorn is a very good safe switch, but unfortunately for me, I literally just had no response to it. So here I was just hoping that they baited and they full send the Thunder, as you should, and now my water type just had a lot of work to do. I do fire this off on CMP, hoping that the opponent shields, but they recognize they can survive it. I'm going to have to go down a shield now, and that Shadow Kingdra is going to be very difficult to get rid of. We are going to come out of this with some energy, but since they safe swapped a Steel type, I was fully expecting there to be another Steel type in the back end. Sure enough, they have an Escavalier. My only win con there was to land the Crabhammer, and they shielded and I surrender. I was just going to get countered down there, so no reason to play that out. Good game to the opponent there. Double Steel, double counter users, and especially double Grass. Really bad for this team. I believe this is a double Grass line I got wrecked by. They safe switch into a Credillion, and again, we just really have no answer for this whatsoever. I did try to catch a Rock Slide there, but they hold on to their energy, and now I'm going to have to shield up. They have so much energy, though. Credillion is just so spammy, and they're still not in Night Slash range. I did throw it there, recognizing that would have been CMP, but they overfarm. They don't even shield it, recognizing they can live it, and now I can't go down 2 shields, so I just have to let this go. And I believe I do come in with the Gyarados to farm down, but now we're down a shield, we're down health. They still have switch advantage, and if they have a safe switch that's a Grass type, they probably have a Ferrothorn in the back, and yeah, here I think I just throw the Crunch for science, even though I'd already seen it play out like 20 times, but I throw the Crunch there, and they shield it, yeah, and then I surrender, so no reason to play that out. I was getting wrecked in that battle, but that's honestly what I found with this team. When I wasn't having these really close wins, I was pretty much just getting hard counter RPS. Really nothing I can do here. This one was absolutely crazy. I bring in the Crawdon, I'm like, surely they're going to shield it, and they don't shield it. One-shots Lucario from full health. There I was only getting to 1 move, so there was no reason for me to bait. My only thought there is that the opponent just didn't realize how fast we get to the Crabhammer, and maybe they just assumed that I only did 4 Snarls, so there's no way that Lucario could get one-shotted by anything if I've only done 4 Snarls. But yeah, we straight up one-shot the Lucario there, and I actually shielded up my Crawdon on the Registeel there, just because it was putting in so much work. I actually double shielded. I'm like, you know what? This is a Crawdon show today. Crawdon is going to go absolutely off on this opponent's backline, and I think I recognize here I can get to double Crabhammer. So if they shield this, and they do, I get to a double Crabhammer. So effectively Crawdon here, excuse me guys, Crawdon here, yeah, apparently Crawdon here must be like wrecking my throat because I didn't even see what happened in the last part. I know that I think I sniped with a Gyarados there, and then they maybe surrendered, but yeah, Crawdon basically just 1v2'd that entire team there, and GG to the opponent. I believe this is the last battle already, guys, so thank you for bearing with me. I know it's been a little bit rough on the commentary aspect, but the fortunate thing is it's only going to get better from here. So my voice should be probably fully back in like 2 to 3 more days. So I probably will put out a couple more videos here, but they're just going to be a little bit more chill, just because it hurts to talk still a little bit. I don't even remember what the lead was here. Was it Ferrothorn lead? I think it was a Ferrothorn lead, and I just elected to sack by Gyarados. I'm at the back-to-back Night Slashes here, so they're probably not going to shield it, and they do let it go. And what do they have in the back? Oh, it was a Gliscopod lead? I don't remember, but I do know here that a Night Slash again from the Crawdon just hits so hard that nearly does half of the remaining health of Gliscopod. So even though by type we have a disadvantage by type there, we just had a huge advantage in terms of attack stat. And here the opponent there saves their last shield for the Jellicent, thinking that there's no way this guy has 2 dark types, but guess what? He has 2 dark types, and the opponent's Jellicent gets walled in the last battle, and that is a GG. So thank you guys for watching the video. I'm just going to end it now because I'm struggling here, but again, thank you so much to everyone who supported me over the last like 10 to 12 days. It's really been awesome seeing you guys' comments, seeing your well wishes, and of course, thank you as always to Henry for his shout outs and his commentary on my Legend push, if you guys didn't see it in the Remix Cup. And then of course Calamontos for always supporting the channel and shoutcasting my spicy battles. But that being said, I will be posting some more videos now more regularly, guys. Hopefully gonna get production back up to full steam here in the next few days. But if you did like this video, let me know in the comments. It does feel good to be back, and I have been running some spice, so I've already got some more content ready for you guys. We'll just see how I feel tomorrow. Maybe I'll get a video out tomorrow night, we'll see. But anyway, that being said, if you're new to the channel, if you're not subscribed, I promise my content is normally a little bit better than this, but if you did like it, consider subscribing anyway, because the more subscribers we can get, the more Pokemon my wife will let me play.